We have a similar tool as Visual Studio Code, that is IntelliJ IDE, Integrated Development Environment. This also will do the similar kind of work, but in a different way. So the user interface and user experience, and then the way we proceed, all will change. But the overall, the flow of working remains same, but the experience would be slightly different. If you do not know how to handle, if you have never handled IntelliJ, means it's difficult to use IntelliJ for Git and GitHub collaboration. So that's the reason I would like to take. That's the reason I had decided to take this exercise as part of Git and GitHub. So the procedure by and large remains same. So as usual, the only thing that differs is, so let me change this from VS Code to IntelliJ, and then only thing that we're gonna add is I'm gonna add an GitHub account for the IntelliJ IDE. So I'm gonna do this configuration here, and then we will execute the steps one by one. The flow remains same by and large. Okay, so let me get into the GitHub, and let us create our repository for this. So now if you see, I'm in I'm Cherry Rams. It's another GitHub account. Basically, I have created this GitHub account only to demonstrate the exercises for these tutorials, nothing much. So here I'm gonna create GitHub and IntelliJ remote repo. So I would say same thing I'll copy here also. So let me go with the public repository. Then I would say add a readme file, and let's create a repository. So the repository has been created in Cherry Ram's GitHub account. So now, so our repository is ready. The name is GitHub IntelliJ remote repo. So now it's time to jump into open our IntelliJ and do the needful. So let me maximize this first. This is the launching page or initial page. Whenever it opens and it asks for the tip of the day, it basically pops as soon as you open up. It will pop up the these tips of the day. If you want to see the tips, you can just go through it, or you just click on close, and so this is the initial page, the main page of the IntelliJ. So whatever you want to do from here, you can open your projects in file. You go to the new project and you click on the new project, or if you want to bring an existing sources into here, then you can go for the project from existing sources, or if you want to go for the new project from version control, you can go here, or you can simply open your project, and then here you can get the open recent project. From here you can close the project, and here you can have a settings. And then if you come down a bit, a little bit more, you can find the most important thing is new project setup. That's okay. IDE settings. So this is also an important thing, because the overall user interface, whenever this IDE integrated development environment, if you do any modifications on the IDE on user interface sides, like if you move the tabs one and there, and if you remove the tabs that are existing, and if you find difficult to bring them back, then you just say restore default settings. Then automatically it quits the IntelliJ, it closes the IntelliJ, and then it restarts it. When it restarts back, it brings up all the default icons and tabs and everything as usual. You can see this is the best way to put up. So here you can see, if you click on double shift, you can search, and then for you can create a new file from here. Once you open your project, you can click on new file, and then you can create. So this is how it works. And here you see here we have edit options, of the file, then here view options, and then navigate, code related, refactor, build, run. These are all bugging, debugging. This is specific to Java, right? So that's the reason you have this build. What is a build? That we are going to see in our next part of this module. That is Maven. Using Maven, we are going to build JavaScripts, Java codes. We'll take a Java source code, and from Java source code we are going to build an artifact using a Maven tool. That we are going to do. So this is similar to that. You can click on build project and you can do the build, and then rebuild, and you can build the artifacts. So all those things you can find here. So okay, this is run and debug. This is about the code. So here you have tools, different tools. Here is the Git. This is important for us. Okay, this is important for us. So here you can see all the options in the Git menu: commit, push, update. These are all nothing but a commands in Git bash. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. I'm only answering. That's fine. If you like, you just answer the same in comment section. So then merge, rebase, branches, new tag, reset head, everything, all the information. See, if you click on here, you can clone, then manage remotes. So current file basically, and then patch and all this information. Here, Windows to add more windows or anything, active tool Windows. So background tasks, all that information you will get it from here. Okay. So we've seen enough. Yeah. So now first act that we are going to do is, let's get into the settings that you see on the top uh, horizontal horizontal menu bar. Just click on this small settings icon. I hope it's visible for you. The small settings icon. This is called IDE and project settings. Let me get into that, and then you'll find uh, you see that a wrench, a spanner icon, and then click on settings. So now here you'll find the appearance. If you want to increase the font size, use custom font and put 18. Apply. I hope now it would be much clearer for you. Okay. So that's like that. Here you can find menu and toolbar. What all toolbars? It's like complete user interface. How do you want to customize for your preference? That's it. That you're going to find here. So file color, scopes, notification, path variables. Here you can have some path variables. This is Maven repository path variable. That's okay. All fine. So let me minimize that drop down menu of appearance and behavior. Then here you will have a editor information, editor, font, code editing, color scheme, code style, whatever you want, all that information you'll get it from there. I will minimize that also from there. And let me go up, scroll up a bit up, and then minimize the editor drop down button also. Now here you can find this version control. Here you have plugins. From here you can actually install your plugins. Okay, similarly we call this in version in you see that here we call it as a extensions. You see that extension, sorry, here extensions, whereas in IntelliJ we call it as a plugins. You can install all the plugins whatever is required for you. So if you see, these are installed packages, installed plugins, Ant, Gradle, Maven, all those things installed, because I work on this development also, building a JavaScript application. So that's the reason I've installed Ant, Gradle, Maven, and all those things. Okay, but that's not the point of matter here. Now it's time to speak about the version control system. So here I just maximize this one. So now you can find all the information about VCS. So there are different types of tools that you can use in VCS. It could be Git or it could be Subversion, whatever it may be. But here in this case, we are using Git as a VCS, and then GitHub for the source code repository. So here, because we have set it completely to default, I have restored to the default. So all the accounts are gone. all the accounts are gone. So no, not even a single account has been attached with my IntelliJ IDE. So now I'm gonna attach an account, add account. So you have two options, either login via GitHub or login with the token. So in spite of going with the token, I would say login via GitHub only. This uses a browser to log into your GitHub. So now I say authorize into my GitHub. So through browser, it is authorizing. It is saying, just read this. I think it's visible now. You have seen successfully sorry, you have been successfully authorized in GitHub. So you can close the page now. Okay, I'll close the page. So now let me get back into my, here you see that. So Cherry Ram's account has been, the Cherry Ram's GitHub account has been attached to IntelliJ. So that account has been configured with IntelliJ. So now you can use it. So what I will do is I'll just apply the changes. So changes has been applied and then I'll click OK. So this is how we configure your GitHub account with IntelliJ. So the configuration is done. Now it's time to clone your Git repositories. So for that, before that, I will minimize this one. It's not required for us at this moment. So it saves some space for me. So now on main menu, on top a main menu, I'll go to the Git. I click on the Git. Here you can find a lot of options: commit, push, update, project, pull, fetch, merge, rebase, branches, new branch, new tag, reset head. So out of which I'm gonna select clone. So when I click clone, it opened up a new window. In that you have three options. First one is a repository URL. What you can do is you directly go to your GitHub account. Here is my GitHub account. This is my repository. Just go here and copy the HTTPS URL and paste it here. That is one option. Okay. And then you can choose the local repository directory here. So that's one option. Or second option you can see here. This is directly, as you have connected, as you have configured your IntelliJ with your GitHub account. So that GitHub account will show you, will populate all the repository that are present inside your GitHub account. You see that these are all repositories are there inside my GitHub account. If you don't believe this, I'm going to show you that. Let me get back to my your repositories and I'll click on repositories alone. So now you will find, see how many are there: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Total we have 7 repositories. 3 4 7 repositories. So out of which, now which repository we want to select? We want to go with GitHub IntelliJ remote repo. Yes, is this the one? Yeah, let me cross check it once. GitHub IntelliJ remote repo. Yes, this is the description that we have given. Proper. Correct. Absolutely correct. So now this is one option. And second option is GitHub Enterprise. Of course, I do not have a GitHub Enterprise account personally. Official is different, that we cannot use anyway. So that's the reason these two options, either a repository URL, you can paste a repository URL and you can give the destination of the local repository, or you can go with the GitHub account. You can click on the GitHub account and it will populate all the repository that belongs to that GitHub account, and you select the one repository that you want to clone. So this is the one I want to clone, and the destination I want to put, I will do it. I will select from here. Okay, I'll scroll down a bit. I'll go to the D drive, and inside that I will go to my imlac. So in that I'll go to the YouTube, and in that I'll go to iDevOps for you course, and inside that I'm gonna go to module 5, that's part 1, that's Git. So inside that I will go to hands-on, and hands-on, yeah, hands-on is fine. Or in hands-on I'm gonna create one new folder saying IntelliJ J and GitHub exercise, and let me click OK and select that. It's been selected. Okay, this has been created outside of that. Okay, that's fine. Whatever, wherever it may be. So the folder has been selected. Yes, part one. Yeah, part one Git. Inside that part one Git, it's been selected. So this is the destination directory of the remote repository in the local machine. So when I clone it, the remote repository will be cloned into this directory. So let me clone it now. So cloning is taking place. So it's asking, I would say trust project. I would say, where would you like to open the project? I would say you do it here only. Don't go anywhere. So it's loading. Yes, here it is. You see that? This is the project. IntelliJ GitHub exercise. I'll show you. So in that directory, the project will be stored. So the project will be cloned inside this directory. Okay. IntelliJ. So if you go to the readme of a remote repository, you see that you have only two, this two, and here also these two. Okay, we are in a proper place. Externally added files can be added to Git. That's okay. So now let's add our piece of code. So so far I hope it's everything is clear. So now what will we do is we will create our first file in the same directory. For that I will click on here. I'll click on new HTML file. So I would say index.html. Yes. I'd say okay, add file to Git. So not now, just give me some time. I will tell you. Just give me some time. It's directly asking, should I? If you choose cancel, you can still add it later manually. Okay, I will add it manually. You just wait for some time. I need to do some other work. So this is, and I'm gonna customize this one. So for that, what I'll do, I'll copy the code from here and I'll paste it here. So this is my index.html. My HTML page is absolutely ready. Yes, it started with the doc type and then heads, and after that body has been started, and there is a huge amount of code is presented in this. We have written that just few months back. That's fine. So now let me get into the repository and see where it is. So I'll get back to the part 1 Git. So here you can find that IntelliJ GitHub. Here is that in this directory, this is the local, this is the current working directory, and this is where the Git has been initialized. Okay, the Git has been cloned. So now what I'm gonna do is, so I will attach some files here. So with this, let's get into here. So this is our complete present working directory. So now project configuration files can be added to Git. It's asking directly. It's asking. Now I'll say yes. You view files, or we know what are the files. I'll directly add them. So I'll click on always add. So now we are in a second. I'll take, so first step is done. Then second step is also done. Then open IntelliJ, and this is also done. This, the third step is also done, giving a destination. So now it's writing our files and modules was also done. Now we have add changes. Now we have to add all these changes to staging area, then commit the changes and then push the changes, and we'll see what's going to happen. Okay, let's get back. So let me click always add one more time, and let's see. let's update the project. We have used that notification, but if you want to do it manually, you come here on the top menu bar, and then you sub menu, you can say it as a sub menu, and then on this menu you can see the Git section specifically. This part from here to here, this is Git section. You can click on update project, or you can give the control plus T if you want to update the project, but at this moment I don't want to do. So anyway, the changes has been added to the staging area. Now it's time to click on commit. So now it's asking 71 files are there, total 71 files, 71 changes are there. You can see that 71 changes. Do you want to commit? And I would say commit all the files, all the files of my resume application. Okay, I would click on commit now. So now it is committing all the files. All the files means literally all the files. Total 71 files has to be added. So checks failed, 5 errors and 3 warnings. That's okay. I would say commit anyway. It doesn't matter. Because here we are not here to do the debugging. Okay. We are here to explore the way to collaborate using IntelliJ with GitHub. Yes, 71 files committed. You can see that this green message, 71 files committed. Commit all the files of my resume application is the message that we have, a commit message. Now it's time to push it. It's been committed. Now it's time to push it. So for that, you can see that this is commit, and here the green arrow is to push it. I'm pushing it now. Here you can see the main is the local repository branch, and origin main. Origin is the alias name for the remote repository, and this is main. So now origin is the remote repository complete URL, and then inside that we are handling with the main branch. So now we are pushing from main branch to the origin is the remote repository's main branch. That's what it means. So then here we are giving the message. It's a commit message. I keep the same. I don't want to change. I don't want to add the other one. So now it's time to push. So you have some option. Force push. We'll just push normally. There is no issue. I think. I don't think we'll get some issue here. It's pushing. You can see that here at the bottom. Pushing. It's been pushing. So it may take 2 more minutes. I don't think it will take 2 minutes. At least 1 minute it will take, because it's a huge data we're pushing into it. So let it take its own time. Meanwhile, you can explore the user interface of IntelliJ. You see that the main menu, what all items are there: file, edit, view, navigate, code, refactor, build, run. Build is very important tool for the Java build, to build the Java source code into an artifact. Why we need to convert a source code into artifact, that we will discuss in Maven part. Okay, pushed one commit to origin main from main branch of local repository to origin the remote repositories, and main branch is pushed to pushed. Okay, from local to remote main branch, it's been pushed. So now let us get into our remote repository and refresh it and see the magic. Here is the magic. So your complete application has been pushed into remote repository other than one file, that is index.html. Okay, now we are going to add that also. We are missing index.html. So let me add that file also. So here is my of course it's there, then why are we missing? So let me check that. Let me come to the project. Okay, okay. about this. Yeah, here is the index.html. So let me commit this time. Save it. Let me cross check the directory one more time whether we have received about assets vendor and about a readme is there, but there is no. Okay. Let me save it. Add one more comment. So custom comment, and then we will these changes we will push it again and we'll see. Let me save it, and now I'll say commit. So unversioned files. Okay, this file hasn't been versioned. So now I'd say directly commit and push. So this time I'm committing index.html only. So commit and push. One error, commit anyway. So this is what I want to commit. Okay, all done. Let me commit it. Pushed and committed. Now let me get into this and refresh it and check. Yes, you got the index.html, and let me try to open this in browser. Okay, this is what the source code, and let me get into the folder. So now just to demonstrate the application that we have pushed into the remote repository. Okay, with that we can successfully proven that. So even using IntelliJ, we can also do the same kind of operations with ease. So this is also not that difficult. It's similar to that, but most people prefer to go with I hope whom the most of the people that I know, so they prefer to go with the Visual Studio Code. So I just want to show the application that we have just deployed or just pushed into the remote repository. This is what. Yeah. So let me get back. So with this, we have seen how to use IntelliJ IDE code for Git and GitHub. So to sum up, let me get back to the sticky note. We have configured our GitHub account with IntelliJ IDE. Then after that, we have created a public repository in that in a GitHub account. Then we have come to the IntelliJ, and then we went to the Git section, and then we have cloned the remote repository. Then after that, we have used a destination local address to connect with the remote repo and to set up the clone. And then we have written our source code. Then we have add the changes that we have done to the source code, and then we have committed the changes. Then finally we have pushed the changes into the remote repo, and whatever activity that so far we have done, all is successful.